Oh, I was up for 5.2 million.
The catch: send them money to receive the prize. But why?
It was so that money could come from one state into the other, and that time I didn't know that it could, with no, you don't pay.
Gloria Rodriguez is 79 years old. She lost her phone, she lost her car, she lost her house, not to a natural disaster, not to medical bills, to a phone call. In March 2018, Gloria got a call from someone who said they were from Publishers Clearinghouse. You know the name, the sweepstakes, the giant checks, Ed McMahon showing up at your door. The caller told Gloria she had won $5.2 million. Not $5 million, 5.2. The specificity made it feel real. The catch? She needed to send money first, to move the prize from one state to another, for taxes, for processing fees. Over the next year, Gloria sent $135,000. The prize never came, the money is gone, and Gloria? She lost everything. On Love or Lie, we break down how scams like this work, the psychology, the tactics, the systematic destruction of someone's life. If you want to understand this before it happens to someone you love, stay with me. Rodriguez is 79 years old. She lives in Las Vegas. For years, she had been a customer of Publishers Clearinghouse. She bought merchandise, she held subscriptions, she entered their contests. Since 2016, she had been interacting with the company legitimately. That history is important, because when the scammers called in 2018, they didn't just use the Publishers Clearinghouse name, they knew details about Gloria, they knew her address, they knew her purchase history, they knew she had been entering contests. This wasn't a random call, this was targeted. Gloria wasn't someone who fell for obvious scams. She was someone who had an actual relationship with Publishers Clearinghouse. So when someone called claiming to be from PCH and told her she'd won, it didn't seem impossible. It seemed like the thing she'd been hoping for finally happened. $5.2 million. Think about what that means to a 79-year-old woman. It means security. It means not worrying about medical bills. It means helping family. It means independence for the rest of her life. So, when the caller explained she needed to send money to facilitate the transfer of her winnings, Gloria didn't question it. She thought it was standard procedure. She had no way of knowing that the person on the phone wasn't from Publishers Clearinghouse, that they'd stolen customer data, that they were part of a criminal network designed specifically to exploit people like her. Gloria sent the first payment, and the calls kept coming. The caller knew everything. They knew Gloria's address. They knew her history with Publishers Clearinghouse. They knew she had been entering contests for years. That knowledge is not magic, it's stolen data. Criminal networks purchase customer information from data breaches, from compromised databases, from insiders who sell access. When a scammer calls you and knows details about your life, it's not because they're psychic, it's because your information was bought. Gloria believed the caller because they sounded legitimate. They had the right information. They used professional language. They referenced specific contests she'd entered.
He knew my address, the history of my spending with the company.
And most importantly, they called her almost every day. From March 2018 until just recently, over a year, Gloria received calls from these scammers nearly every single day. Different voices sometimes, different names. But the same story. Your prize is coming. You just need to send one more payment. This is systematic psychological manipulation. The daily calls created a routine, a relationship. The scammers became part of Gloria's life. She started to trust them because they were consistent. They remembered her. They followed up. Each call reinforced the legitimacy of the previous one. If it was fake, why would they keep calling? Why would they invest this much time? The answer, of course, is because it was working. Gloria was told she could quit at any time and get her money back. That promise kept her locked in. If she stopped now, before the prize arrived, she'd lose everything she'd already sent.
Anytime you want to quit this, we'll give you your money back.
But if she kept going, the prize would come, and everything would be worth it. This is the sunk cost fallacy weaponized. Every payment Gloria made gave her more reason to keep believing, because the alternative, admitting she'd been scammed, became psychologically unbearable. That number is not a typo. $135,000 Gloria didn't send that in one payment, she sent it over the course of a year, wire transfer after wire transfer, each one accompanied by a promise, "This is the last one. The prize is almost ready, you're so close." But here's where it gets worse. The scammers didn't just ask Gloria to send money, they gave her specific instructions. At one point, they told her to take out a loan, to go to a specific bank, Bank of America, and open a new account, to send money to a specific person in another state. Gloria followed every instruction because she believed the prize was real.
He told me to go take out, to send this money to this gentleman, which was out of state, going to open up a bank account with Bank of America.
Think about what that means. Gloria went into a bank. She spoke to bank employees. She opened a new account. She took out a loan. And no one stopped her. No one asked why a 79-year-old woman was suddenly opening new accounts and wiring large sums of money to strangers. No fraud alert was triggered. No bank manager pulled her aside to ask questions. The systems designed to protect people like Gloria failed completely. Over the course of a year, Gloria sent $135,000. She exhausted her savings. She took out loans. She sold her car. She lost her phone. She couldn't pay her mortgage. And eventually, she lost her house. Not because of medical bills, not because of bad investments, because of daily phone calls from people pretending to be from Publishers Clearinghouse. Gloria kept meticulous records of every transaction. She has documentation of every wire transfer. She tracked it all because she thought she was participating in a legitimate process. She thought she was doing everything right. And the entire time, the scammers were bleeding her dry. Quick pause. If you're watching this and thinking, that could never happen to me, that's exactly what Gloria thought. She wasn't stupid. She was targeted by professionals who knew her purchase history, knew her address, knew exactly what to say to make it feel real. That's why Love or Lie exists. I'm Jack. We break down how these scams work, not to shame victims, but so you can see the patterns before someone you love loses everything. Hit subscribe. Share this with one person who needs to see it. All right, let me tell you what happened when Gloria finally confronted the scammers. Gloria lost $135,000. She lost her car. She lost her phone. She lost her house. At 79 years old, she is starting over from nothing. But the financial loss isn't even the worst part. When Gloria finally confronted the scammers, when she told them she knew it was fraud and she was reporting them, they laughed. And then they told her, "We have 4 others on the hook aside from you." 4 other people, right now, sending money, believing the same lie Gloria believed. The scammers weren't panicked. They weren't worried about being caught. They moved on to the next victim before Gloria even hung up. That's the part that should make you angry. These aren't desperate criminals making mistakes. These are organized networks running hundreds of scams simultaneously. When one victim runs out of money, they already have 4 more lined up. Gloria reported the scam to the Nevada Attorney General's office. As of the news report, she still hadn't heard back. No investigation announced, no arrests made, no restitution offered. She is 79 years old, homeless, and the people who did this to her are still making calls. The shame Gloria feels is palpable. She calls herself an idiot, a fool. She blames herself for not seeing it sooner. But here's the truth. Gloria was targeted because she was a legitimate Publishers Clearinghouse customer. The scammers used her own history against her. They knew exactly what to say to exploit her trust. This is not stupidity. This is professional fraud. And the systems that should have protected her, the banks, the wire transfer services, the fraud detection algorithms, failed completely. Gloria's story is not isolated. Scammers impersonating publishers. Clearinghouse and other sweepstakes companies defraud Americans out of millions of dollars every year. The real Publishers Clearinghouse has had to issue public warnings. We will never ask you to send money to claim a prize. If someone asks for payment, it's a scam. But the warnings don't reach everyone. And even when they do, the scammers adapt. They steal customer data so they can reference real purchase histories. They use spoofed phone numbers so caller ID shows a legitimate company name. They call daily to build trust and dependency. And they target the exact demographic most vulnerable to this type of manipulation: older adults who live alone, who handle their own finances, who don't have constant oversight from family members. Gloria was a perfect target. She had a real relationship with Publishers Clearinghouse. She lived independently. She managed her own money. When the scammers called, she had no reason to doubt them. Consumer advocates recommend 3 things. First, legitimate companies never ask you to send money to claim a prize. If someone asks for payment up front, it's a scam. No exceptions. Second, don't do business over the phone with people who call you. If someone claims to be from a company you trust, hang up and call the company directly using a number you find yourself, not one the caller gives you. Third, if you suspect fraud, report it immediately. The FTC and FBI have complaint systems. Local police can connect you to resources. The Attorney General's office in your state handles consumer fraud. But here's the frustrating reality. Even when victims report, the money is almost never recovered. Wire transfers are designed to be immediate and irreversible. Once the money leaves your account, it's gone. The scammers know this. They specifically instruct victims to use wire transfers because they're nearly impossible to trace or reverse. Gloria has documentation of every transaction. She reported it to authorities, and as of this recording, she still hasn't gotten a single dollar back. The people who did this to her? They're still making calls. Gloria Rodriguez is 79 years old. She lost $135,000. She lost her car. She lost her phone. She lost her house. Not because she was careless, not because she was stupid, because someone called her pretending to be from a company she trusted. They knew her address. They knew her purchase history. They called her every day for over a year. And when she finally realized it was fraud and confronted them, they told her, "We have 4 others on the hook." 4 other people, right now, losing everything, believing the same lie. Gloria calls herself a fool, but she's not. She's a victim of professional criminals who exploit trust, who steal data, who know exactly how to manipulate human psychology. The only defense against this is knowing what these scams look like before the call comes, before the first payment is sent, before everything is gone. That's what we do here on Love or Lie. I'm Jack. If this story made you want to check on someone, if it made you want to have that uncomfortable conversation about phone scams, then it did exactly what it was supposed to do. There's another story coming next week. It's even harder to watch. I'll see you then.